Model pouring the water from the small cup or the ladle into the other cup and going bu 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 bu. Ah, so they're working on bu 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 bu, and then when they get to the the line, ah, and so then you could guide the child to do the same bu 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 bu, and then they naturally want to imitate. We know that the kids go through that, so you're working on PT, OT, speech, all in one activity, and the child's getting clean. So, balance. What are some things that you could do to work on balance in multiple settings? Like standing balance. Like if mom's working on standing balance. PT.
Well, you can get the child to stand on an unstable surface, either on a couch, on top of a pillow.
Couch or pillow on an unstable surface, right? Or if they have a flashlight, they can do that one, stepping on the light. Have you done that? That's fun. Fun, engaging things, right? Kicking the ball, shifting the weight, and all that, yeah. But they could also do that when they're in speech, couldn't they? They could also do that when they're in OT. You can combine and just get together and say, okay, here's an activity. Here's an activity. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. And mom and dad, we're working on these things. What can you do? What activities can you think of that we can do this? And we'll concentrate on this. We'll make a measurable objective, and we'll know that our child is improving when they're able to do X. So that's really the gist of where I'm coming from. So you need a leader. This is just a format that we use, and it's in your supplements there. When we come together, therapy, for me, 80% is planning and 20% is implementation. If you've got a good plan and everybody's on the same page, people are going to be knowing what to look for. They're going to be thinking creatively of activities to make those things happen. So it's not buying a special toy. It's how you're presenting that, how you're presenting everyday activities, like I said, out of reach. Make them rotate, or whatever it is, or imitate a sound. So it's important to meet, and meet regularly. And your team leader needs to call those meetings and hold people to those, if you follow that model.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Do you do goals and objectives, and is that part of your model setup?
I think for some of our clients we do, right? We set it up. I know our PT, Liz, she uses that quite a lot with her clients. Okay. So usually after an assessment, you come up with the findings and where the child's baseline is, and then you figure out the goals and objectives, and she'll write them down. And we have a sheet that's for long-term goals and objectives and the short-term goals and objectives. Not all the therapists use them. It's up to how comfortable they feel. But there are some therapists in our clinic, who use them.
How do you know when you're making progress if you don't in your goal? And that's the difference, I think, in the model.
Can you write yours out?
Yeah.
Well, it's meant to be not a policy, but maybe that everybody writes goals for their patients.
Yeah, I see some people using them and some people don't. We just haven't enforced it. I mean, we haven't said you have to, do all of these things. We do write therapy progress notes for the clients. So in terms of the session, what goals and objectives for that session is set out and how the child performs, we do that. But you're right. I mean, we haven't asked people to have to do this.
Well, here's a good reminder. There we go. If nothing else, it's a good reminder of how important it is to make very measurable, functional objectives. Make them functional. Make them real life. Okay. The goal is to feed themselves, say, okay? Or eat, participate at meals. That's the goal. Specific objectives may include sit at the table in a chair without supports, be able to manage a fork, remove food using teeth and lips, lip closure. Those could be the objectives. Those are very, how are we going to know that this child's making progress when they can do those things? When they do those things, consistently, 3 days in a row, 3 meals in a row, whatever. So there's a, is that, can you think of another one?
Dressing.
Dressing themselves
Dressing themselves.
for school, or whatever. Getting ready in the morning,
And then,
brushing their teeth.
you know, start with, they can pull their socks off and then they can put them on, or, you know, just break it down.
Right. Something that's observable, even communication-wise. If you do the meal thing, you could even tie in communication goals at the table to request or make a choice, so depending on where they are, you know. So, goals and objectives and action plans.
Term that the child uses, which would probably be your first step. It's time to eat, and then you're building in that receptive skill. Or you can have a cup and a spoon. What do you want? Eat your drink. They're making a choice. Or you could just have it, if they're at the object level, which is probably your primary level, if they're a very young child, or cognitively associating with objects more in pictures, you could have a schedule of different objects. Okay, next is this, next is this. And so that they're relating this as representing the activity. So then you can go to a card that has the object and a picture and the text. And I think I'm a firm believer in exposing kids to whatever text, whatever system they're going to be learning, language, from the get-go. The more exposure, the more value they see, and that words have meaning, and pictures are a good support. And you notice the word is on the picture as well. So they can make the association using this card, because it has the object, and then you can just simply move from the card to the symbol, or a photograph, whatever. And they could use a picture exchange, or they could have a communication board with these if they're not verbal, or they're limited, you can't understand what they're saying yet. We always say yet, because everybody's a work in progress. They're never static, always changing. This is the sequencer button. This little cap comes off. But this is a little, it's step-by-step by Ablement. And that's on your resource list.
Can you give an example again?
And all I get is...
So each time you press a button, it's
supposed to deliver the messages that I recorded. Pretended. I took this off the shelf. It worked before. Put it down. I didn't even test it. That will teach me, but anyway, it's a step-by-step. And you can also put a repeated line in a book, like I was talking about.
For example, like to tie your shoes. Maybe.
You can put the sequence in for them to listen, but more importantly would be for the child to use this to deliver a message. They touch the picture that represents whatever the activity is, and it speaks that message. So.
How many sequences can you record up to?
This, I think it's a number of minutes, so I think it holds like up to 2 minutes. So you can repeat, repeat, repeat. So you can put a variety of different messages or just one message, and then each time they hit it.
So each time you hit it, they go along the sequence.
It goes in sequence, but if you only record one message,
right,
it'll
just
be
hit
that
the
one. I don't remember what I was doing. Anyway, there are a variety of these. There's this one and another one called the Big Mac, and that's a single message. It also has a port for a switch that you can plug into a switch-activated toy. Do you guys have those here? I'll send you some information on that too for cause and effect and for engaging a child when they push the button to make something, activate. Kids that can't play with toys in the normal way that other kids can, it gives them, really that sense of power and self-confidence. So that's that, and I love these shoes. I'm really having a good time. Do people like slides?
Yeah. It's probably not good for us in their slide.
I know. And this goes along with that picture exchange, and it's just you put your sheets of your communication environments in here, and then Velcro strips on the pages on what are they called? It could be cardboard or it could be whatever. It goes in 3-way binder. And then you take the one ones that you want to say, I want to play Joko, or whatever it is. And then they put it in the sequence of the sentence, and then they simply put kanji there. And they would take that to you. Okay, so you're teaching the child to put together messages, and it could just be to me play or whatever to start. But the fact is they're putting things together in order, building language, and getting the power to communicate by dreaming to make them what they want. Or maybe not. You can say, no, it's not time to play, but at least they've communicated to you. We have it's a mid-tech device in that it's not one of these fancy ones like she was using with her toe. That has a dynamic screen and it's got all kinds of things built in. But this is a sturdy, programmable, you can use up to 8 messages, and it has levels. So on this one, and I was trying to get it to go, and again, I pulled these off the shelf and snuck them out. But I didn't really get a chance to test them all out, but it has a record button and a mic, so if this had the battery in it, you would be able to push the record and then the button, and it would record whatever you put in that square. And your levels are here, levels 1 through 4. So it has 4 levels. In other words, you pop this out, you put in one sheet and program that, and it could be this many squares, right? And then you put it on that level, and then it's recorded for that level. So anytime you come back to that activity, you just push back to that level, put the sheet in for that activity, and it should be ready to go.
So a lot of board maker stuff.
Board maker, yeah, or Bizzle.
But that little picture of that guy eating that you took off.
Oh, yeah. This symbol set is what Mayor Johnson uses for board maker.
About everything.
Yeah, a lot of people use those line drawings. They're not good for all kids. Sometimes they need photographs. But you can pretty much laminate anything.
So visual, is that a picture?
You could use any picture.
No, visual, because do they come with a lot of pre-made like Mayor Johnson?
They have, some teachers have uploaded activities with Mayor Johnson symbols. It's a shared thing, so there's a whole bank. You can look up math activities, language, reading, whatever, specific activities. You can do a search, and it'll pull up activities. And a lot of them have used these.
So is the resource website is not visual?
They do have some pre-made,
Uh-huh.
but you can customize it, and that's what the power is.
Okay.
Whatever is good for that child.
What's the name of this device you're holding?
This is a 7-level communicator.
Is it like an intro talker thing?
It is kind of like that. They don't make intro talkers
They don't.
Don't say that, you're showing your age. I remember intro talkers. I remember that adaptive firmware card, opening up the Apple computer.
It hasn't changed much though. It's still the
I
same.
know, it's the same concept. It's a lot more lightweight, and it's fun. It's got a handle. And so you could do, the 8 location, or you could do 4, you could do 2, or you could do just one big button on this. So it's kind of a cool little thing, and it's not very expensive. I think it's under $100. And I forgot the talking. This is the talking photo album. And this is also available for sale, and what you do is record on each page, so they could have,
This is my little brother.
this is my little brother, and a picture of the little brother. They can take it to different people, communicate this way. This is my dog. Or, I'm going to the store. Can you help me find the milk? They could go up to the store clerk. They're identifying safety, right? Don't go up to any stranger. You go to the store clerk. They have a name badge. They have some survival skills. But they're also communicating, and they're getting the power of communicating.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, and that's always a big one.
Oh, yeah?
Like, no, I think kids communicate when they need to go to the bathroom pretty clearly. Usually that's the first thing. Why do we put that on a communication board? Let's put the other stuff in it. How often are you going to use that? I need to go to the bathroom.
No, where is the bathroom? If you're out
Where is the bathroom? It's a good one, yeah.